Warning, this week's episode of the Top Podcast may cause some fits of rage, strong bouts of anger, and unimaginable annoyance. Listener discretion is advised, but true toppers will listen on.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob. Joining with me is Lou.
Shalom, my brothers.
And Mike.
Ni hao.
And I just want to say, we didn't talk about this last episode because I completely forgot, but we passed 25 episodes. This is episode 26. So congrats, everybody.
Whoa.
Well, only missed 1 week. Is that half a year almost? Right? Yeah. It's 52.
That was the softest, whitest handshake, hand applause I've ever heard in my life.
I was going to add it in post, but I guess that works. Congratulations on the 6 months, guys. Here's to hopefully at least another 6 months.
That's freaking crazy, man.
Each week, we like to start off with an icebreaker. Lou, what do you got for us this week?
This is a good one. What is the silliest way you've ever been injured? I'll go first.
Well, I'll sit here and pick.
My dad, for some reason, wanted to go camping with me. I think out of the blue. I don't remember ever planning on it. I think I just remember him being like, hey, we're going to go camping, get dressed. And so we go camping. We go on this walk, and it's the most boring hike I've ever experienced in my life. It's a straight shot. And it felt like 4 miles of just straight gravel walking. And I get bit by, I think, like a fire ant or something. And so we come back and he starts roasting hot dogs. And I'm so hungry from this hike that I don't pay attention to where the what do you call it? The fork, the spigot?
Like the thing he was using to hold the little metal fork thing?
Oh,
the metal fork?
Tongs?
Yeah. No, not the tongs. You stick them.
It's basically like a repurposed coat hanger.
A bident? Right? It's not a trident. It's a bident.
There we go. Science. You love to see it. And I am just mounting this hot dog in the most aggressive way. And I don't notice how close I am to the mident. And
Bident 2024.
Yep.
Bident. And I burn my nose, my lips, and my chin all in one sweep. I just had a line down my face the whole rest of the hike.
Yikes.
I mean, the whole rest of the camp.
It is pretty good.
My first one, it's going to make all the baseball fans cringe, but it was middle school. I was playing baseball, and I got bored playing baseball, so that should tell you what I think about baseball.
Dude, what were you, in the outfield?
No, I did play in the outfield, but I meant just in general. Like, I've also played, like, third base. I like softball.
Okay.
Intramural softball, because then it's just, like, guys having fun, and it's not too seriously. But I get bored with organized.
Well, yeah, you're just standing there.
Yeah.
So much of being anywhere in the field is...
Oh my gosh.
Like, if you're not the pitcher or the catcher, there's nothing to do.
Well, I was starting pitcher once, and I was only starting pitcher once, and we'll leave it at that. But anyways, we were playing. I hit a line drive. I don't remember where, but I was just running down the first base, and all I'm hearing there is slide, slide, slide. Which, if you know one thing in baseball, you don't slide in the first base. But I just hear my coach yelling slide, so I go and I slide right into first base and like tear one of my tendons on my foot.
Oh,
he was talking to someone else. That's the worst part. So of course I'm getting crap because you're not supposed to slide in the first. You run through it. But I'm like, I just heard coach yelling slide. And that was the first thing that popped into my head when he said stupid injury, because any baseball person knows you just run through first base. It's quicker. That's the way to do it.
So for me, the first thing that comes to mind is, we talked about it on the podcast pretty recently, was when I ran into that parked car while riding my bike. I think the other one that would come to mind is deciding I was going to ride a scooter in a skate park at the age of like 25. No, way older than that, 28, and completely wiping out in a bowl. But we also talked about that. So I'm trying to think of another good one.
I'm sorry, man. That's literally what sparked the conversation, because you kept talking about.
Do you have any good climbing stories where like you misstep? Got a splinter on the Bear Lake wooden playscape.
Woo! I forgot about this one. All right. So growing up in Allen Park, we had a double wide lot. It was awesome. We had the biggest, I mean, it wasn't bigger than some, but there was no bigger backyard. We had the biggest backyard out of all the possible options. Other people are the same size, but you get what I'm saying. Point is, in the back corner was where my dad would split wood. In the back corner where all like his unsplit wood was, there was a tree that grew up basically right up against the post that the chain link fence would crisscross through. So like right where the four corners met, a tree was growing out of it. And I loved to climb up in that tree. I loved climbing trees my whole life, but I like to climb up in that tree and I'd watch him split wood. And there was one day where I was climbing around and the branch I was on I just fell out of the tree. Like there was no saving it. All of a sudden I was just floating in the air instead of standing on something. And I landed like head out, feet out, landed on my back, Bane Batman break style. But I was young, so I was springy. So I just like popped up and then landed again on my back in the neighbor's backyard. So I was like, oh, I just like bent myself in half. So my back's all messed up. And I blew all the air out of my chest when I landed. And my dad's just like leaping over the fence because he's like, my kid just died. There's no way he's alive. Yeah, that one sucked. Also, you got me thinking now. Oh man, I did a lot of stupid stuff as a kid. You know the swing, like the kiddie swing set, where it's like it's basically like a diaper on chains.
Yeah.
So the one in our neighborhood over in the Good Park was two poles that ran up the middle, kind of spaced out maybe a foot and a half, and then one cross beam. And so it was kind of like a T, and then there was one swing on either side. And I could grab each of the posts, put my feet up against them, and shimmy up to the top, and I would just sit there. And one day, I just completely lost my balance. I had logged multiple hours of just sitting there over the years without even getting close to slipping. And then one day, the equilibrium just went, and I just fell backwards like 8 feet in the air. I don't think I landed on my head, but I got really close, and I was out of commission for the rest of the evening.
Dang.
And now I have CTE.
Well, if you guys have any questions or icebreakers you want us to know, please let us know on our socials or in the YouTube comments. If you guys comment below and let us know and we read it off on air, we'll give you a +1 towards being the top topper at the end of the year, but you cannot text it. So looking at some people right now that text us, leave a comment and then you can get the points. So we'll have a special celebration for you, the top topper at the end of the year. But this week, Lou, why don't you tell us what our topic is?
So this topic, we're talking about top 5 things that grind your gears. The preference, we're 3 grown men about to complain about the silliest things. But we won't bring up something like religion, sex. What else? What did I miss last time?
Oh, gosh. Race. You said you missed out.
Race. Yeah, race.
Shoot.
I know. Figure out your list, guys. Because we are here just to be silly, just to have some fun and poke fun at just 3 grown men just struggling in life a little bit.
Well, your first one up, Lou. What do you got for number 5?
My number 5 is just a preference, just in the small chance that my job does listen to this. I love my job. I'm so grateful for the things I get to do. But my 5 is pointless meetings. I have at least 2 or 3 online meetings a week that could span from like an hour to 3 hours.
Ooh.
And it is the hardest part of my job, to sit and just to look at myself. I don't know, like, because you have to look at yourself when you're on these online meetings and you have to just see your face bored out of your mind and just know that everybody else can see your face being bored out of your mind. Yeah, it could just be in an email. I'm a big fan of just reading an email, accepting it, and just living my life. If I ever get in the position where I'm creating meetings, I will be better. I've told myself that.
You're going to be in charge of the top podcast meetings come here soon once we start getting real endorsements.
What is the meeting going to be about? We're making
you're in charge, so you gotta you gotta come up with it.
Hey, so I don't know how we're going to split $5 a piece, but I'm not good at math. I hope I'm not the money guy because we will be bankrupt.
Well, I'll go into my number 5 because it's along the similar lines, and that is people who don't understand when a text works and you don't need the call, or in this case, like Lou said, have a meeting. I work with a job where we have communication with different companies and different people all over the state, and there's so many people that will call me at 3 a.m. because they're supposed to notify me. And they could just send me a text message. I tell them that, like, all right, thank you for calling. You can just send a text message in the future. But every single time, a week later, 3 a.m. comes around, they're calling my work phone. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, please just send a text. So much easier. And it's just like, yeah, it seems to be, it's going to be, we're going to sound real, I'm going to sound real millennial saying this, but it seems to be more of an older generation thing. Your baby boomers are the pro call, like you call for everything. But I'm just like, text would suffice for most of these, And when it comes to work, then I have a paper trail. So you tell me this, I can be like, hey, no, they sent me this. I have proof right here. It's harder to prove when you call, but it just irks me when majority of things they could send me is a text, but they decide to call me in the wee hours of the night.
I will say, I mean, this is no surprise because I'm the old man. I do like calls over text in more scenarios than the average person. However, between like, I don't know, 9 p.m. and 9 a.m., no calls. Send a text.
Oilfield don't sleep.
No, that's fine. But between those hours, text.
Yeah, I'm like, if a rig's not burning down, a text will suffice.
Yeah, obviously call an emergency. Even as a pro call person, that's absurd.
Yeah, I'm gonna bat for baby boomers. I don't think I don't think normal baby boomers would just call people at 3 a.m. I'm just
It's true because they are a generation that traditionally has sleep etiquette. Well, but even phone call etiquette,
phone call etiquette, right? Like there was no text message at the time, so
you just didn't call.
You just didn't call. You just waited. So you might just be working with just people who,
Well, again, Oilfield doesn't sleep, so that probably contributes to some of it.
I guess that's fair. Are they doing? I don't have to go into detail, but are they doing your job just late at night?
No. I wish I could work my job at night, but I understand that it's a lot harder to inspect when the sun's not out than when it is. But no, we get calls from all over stuff. There's like, oh, you have to notify a state inspector. You're doing this thing, and I'm like, just send me a text or email. Again, I don't need to be called. And my wife's getting grumpy because I have my phone's going off and all that, and then it's just a whole thing.
I respect that. What you should do is call them at an unreasonable time.
There we go.
Maybe like during when the price is right, like during like Jeopardy hours when they're really invested.
Mike, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is apps that are nothing like the commercials. For example,
you're such an old man.
No, man. Here's the thing, like
the games. I get it.
Yeah,
I'm there for you.
Like I see this commercial all the time right now where it's like you get the one guy and he's got the little gun and he's running down the highway and there's stuff rolling at him and you got to shoot it and like lower the number down and then you get the gun, but then you got to run through the signs and it's like plus 30 or times 2. And so you got to like be calculating in your head and like mowing down zombies and like getting better guns. It looks like so much fun, but that's either a small component of the game and it's really like a Clash of Clones or a Clash of Clans clone. Or in some cases, you'll see something and it looks really fun to play, and it's literally not in the game. And it's just like, why even make the like? If you made the commercial, you can make the game. Just make the game. Like, if you're gonna make a game that's so interesting, people will click on it, but it's just essentially catfishing for your app. Why not just make that app? I don't understand it. It makes me so angry at a fundamental level. And the only reason it's not way higher is because it is such a small problem. I can't justify putting it higher, but it absolutely outrages me.
Well, and the worst part about I found the game that actually has that. The worst part is after like every run, there's like a 30-second ad.
Yeah, I remember when games didn't have that many ads, like phone games.
Yeah, or had like the one banner at the bottom or top.
Yeah, like Angry Birds, where you just enjoyed the game. Nowadays it's like 30-second ads, like every other gameplay.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of The Top Podcast, brought to you by Fireball. Fireball is a 3rd level evocation for casting time of 1 action and range 150 feet, dealing up to 8d6 fire damage to all creatures within a 20-foot radius. For even more spicy goodness, try casting Fireball at a spell slot of 4th level or above to deal an additional 1d6 damage per spell slot. Fireball. Please cast responsibly.
Yeah, it's like you get 30 seconds of gameplay and a minute of ads.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
And it's like, man, I'll pay for the app if it's good. If you give me 5 minutes of uninterrupted play to tell that it's good. Or, God forbid, I'm playing an app and then you're making me interested in a different game. But that game isn't even the game that the app is.
And the worst part about that like the gun thing is the apps always infuriate me because they always like they're about to go for the plus 300, then it's like, oh no, divided by 2. I'm like, I feel like that's part of the advertisement. Be like, oh, are you smarter than us?
Yeah, they intentionally play it bad, so you're like, I can do it. I could beat that game. It's so obvious. That's definitely an advertising technique. Yeah, I don't have a degree, but I guarantee it.
Do you
I'm gonna need a beer for this episode, man. I'm already getting fired up.
His veins popping on his forehead. Just
Do you remember? Do you ever seen the game? You start off with like a level 300, and then somebody beats you off and takes all your gear.
no, I've seen
And
the
you
ad
started-
though.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Somebody
Oh.
beats you off?
I can see. Somebody takes off all your stuff, and then you start with one.
Whoa,
and
and
you
then
have-
beats you off.
then beats you off, just like our D&D session last week, and then you start, and it's like on grid, and so you have to beat the other guy off.
Yeah,
and then
it
you
has like
upgrade.
the higher numbers. Like, oh, you have to make sure you don't.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that. And then along with Mike's, I've also seen now they have ads. Be like, don't you hate games that have ads that are nothing like the game? Well, this game is just like the ads.
Yes.
And I'm like, I doubt that, but sure.
Yeah, I refuse on principle to even like check it out. I finally found it. No, you didn't.
Well, Lou, why don't you bring us around to number 4?
Okay, so yeah, my number 4 is people posting straight up just false information online.
Fake
It
news.
just absolutely. I think we have somebody in mind that sometimes does this. I don't know. So I don't know how to.
Guys, everything I post is perfectly factual. I don't need this passive aggressive BS.
You're not who I was thinking of, but
No,
it's
of course not. I have Facebook to advertise my writing. That is it.
cool.
I mean, I want to be friends with all of you. You matter to me. You're not just consumers.
You're
Buy my
just
book.
consumers. Lining our metaphorical wallets with metaphorical money that we don't have because it's a metaphor.
Lucian's over here like, I'm done. I don't want to be on this podcast anymore. These two are weird.
They're talking about metaphors. They're going to make me plan meetings. I'm out.
It would be like 5-second meetings. I was like, we're making money now. Congrats, guys. So
Can
I'm
you
not
just say
allowed-
who it is and then Rob will beep it out? Because I'm really curious.
Oh, post a lot of crazy. I had to like.
I muted her on Facebook. So.
Yeah, I had to mute her off my Facebook too because she was posting some crazy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So we're talking about whoever. Everybody has a family member that just doesn't fact check anything. That just immediately reads something and just posts it online because it just meets their agenda.
Well, it's illegal
Yeah.
to lie on the internet, don't you know?
There you go.
Abe
Yeah,
Lincoln
for sure.
passed that into law. I saw on the internet.
Before or after all his slave. So I think like a good one that doesn't fit any of the things that I stopped from saying is some people post like crazy food advice. And it's just like, or fat burners, or eat this for 7 days and you lose 10 pounds. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And people will buy it and people will pretend like it works. But really, you're just not eating anything. So you don't have enough calories. And so that's why you're burning fat.
Eat
Yeah.
these oxygen puffs for 7 days and you'll lose
Yeah.
10 pounds.
Surprise, Becky. You
Where's my
stopped
credit
eating-
card? Babe, get my credit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, so you stopped eating bread. So this means you just didn't eat a lot of things.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Now
number
coming in oxygen and CO2.
Ooh. So my number 4, it's going to be a very niche group of people, but especially for me, it's football. But when it comes to fantasy sports and Dynasty, which is where you keep your players and you actually have you can trade draft picks and all that, I cannot stand people who overvalue their players or never look at a trade analysis. They'll be like, oh man, this guy's the 4th option on the team, but I expect a 1st in the rookie draft. I'm like, dude, come on. You're lucky to get a 3rd. And it's just crazy how people think because they're on their team, they're the best thing ever. They're the next Justin Jefferson. And it's so annoying trying to deal with people in my fantasy football league. My Dynasty Fantasy Football League, I just have people I don't even bother trading. I'm like, they're gonna ask an arm and a leg and everything, and it's frustrating trying to deal with those people. And this is a good deal. It works for both of our teams. Put on multiple trade analysis things, which to be fair, are more like a guideline. They're not always perfect. And they're just like, nope, you need to throw in a 1st. I'm like, shut the front door. I'm out of here. I'm taking my people and I'm going elsewhere. I know you guys don't play any fantasy or Dynasty fantasy sports, but Lou, have you ever had that when making a trade and your redraft fantasy footballs?
I have a league with my wife's side of the family, and they don't trade at all with anybody. There's no trading. I've tried so many times to trade with people. The shadiest thing I've ever done when it comes to fantasy football is I paid for players,
Whoa.
but I got caught.
Collusion.
So yeah, I got caught. There's that. So after that shady situation, nobody wanted to trade with me anymore.
So we're learning that if we have a top podcast fantasy football, Lou can't be a part of it. So he'll cheat to win.
I will cheat to win.
What?
I'm not against it.
What's the
Sorry,
most
we're
you paid?
learning? I thought we already knew that.
I thought he would have respect for the game.
I mean, if
Being
you
a
tell me,
former
hey,
player.
don't do this, let me know, hey, don't cheat, okay, and then I won't.
How much money did you spend on a player?
I don't remember, $20, I think.
Oh my!
But then I won.
$20?
Well, then I won, and then
Okay.
I won like $120.
Okay, so you got your investment back.
I'm 100 up. Tell me not to cheat, and then I won't.
All right, don't cheat.
With what?
Life.
Okay, thanks.
I don't think you're going to listen to me.
Yeah, I just don't understand the premises. I don't think that'll hold up in court.
You gave me your word. I'm disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Okay, Dad.
Mike, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is restaurants that won't let you look at the menu online without starting an order first.
I was there with you when this happened.
What?
How stupid do you think we are? Do you think I'm going to look at your menu and be like, they don't have anything I want? But I already started an order, so I guess I'll pay them for food I don't want anyway? Let me look at your menu, decide if I want to order, and then let me place an order. Do not make me put in all the information, have everything all set up, and then have to back out. It's a waste of everybody's time. Most importantly, mine.
What restaurant was this?
Like,
Oh, dude, lots of them.
Yeah.
I've never
Pizza
had this
places,
Pizza
fast food places.
Yeah.
Taco Bell is the best. Taco Bell will let you look at their menu and they're really chill. McDonald's, I think McDonald's messed with that for a minute, but they're cool now.
Dude, McDonald's.
It's like a lot of fast food places.
The deals on the Mickey D's app. Oh my gosh, probably gave me.
Oh, no,
10
they're
pounds.
legit.
Yeah, and I'm
but
I'm a
like-
fat guy. I'm like, I can't have a fast food app on my phone. But then I'm like, those are some really good deals. And then I have it on my phone now.
Yeah, I had the Wendy's app on my phone for a minute, and I was just like, I need to stop. This is I might be saving some money, but I'm still spending more money
it.
Yeah,
than I was before, and I'm eating way too much Wendy's.
it's like buy 1 quarter pounder, get another one for 25 cents. Like, well, yeah, I can eat 2 quarter pounders. It's a good deal. I'll just do that right now.
I'm saving so much money.
My wife will love me for this.
it's broken cheese, and I'm broken out. It's good for my muscles. All the protein.
Yeah.
Lou, when you were with Mike, was he like radiating heat? Was he just fuming?
I remember something funny. I don't know. There's something when you get upset, Mike. There's something funny that you do, but I haven't been around with you enough. I think you do something with your hands.
That sounds right. Can't picture it right now, but that does sound bang on, as it
Yeah.
were.
Once I hang out with you a little bit more, I'll be able to figure out what it is. But yeah. And it's just like you immediately call bullshit almost faster than anybody I've ever met.
This is stupid.
And I appreciate somebody who's just straight up just says it what it needs to be. I also agree. To be fair though, I am a person that will go on Uber Eats because that's the only like food thing I still have. I will design my order, my perfect order, and then I'll look at the price and then I'll just back out.
For real.
That's fair.
It's
Yeah.
so
That
expensive up in there.
upcharge.
Yeah. I'll look at and then I don't know, like I don't want to tip, but hey, I have to tip, right? And then
There you go.
that will bring it up to like once the tip hits, after the delivery fee and the service fee, and somebody's soccer kid needs an extra pair of cleats that I'm paying for, it just becomes too much.
We need to normalize cash tips for Grubhub and Uber Eats and that stuff. That's the thing that drives me nuts is I'm like, all right, I'm going to put the tip on there. And then they'll still mess it up. And I'm like, give me the tip back.
Well, then
You
then the platform isn't getting their cut. They want their cut. They don't give 2 craps about the drivers. I know one of the places around here was screwing people out of their tips. So they don't want to go cash because then they're not getting their cut. Because who's to say if I was a DoorDash person or Uber Eats, whatever, I got cash, be like, well, maybe they just didn't tip me this time, and then I don't have to pay DoorDash for that. You know,
I honestly, I'm just saying we need to normalize it because you're allowed to not tip and then be like, here's some cash, man.
I don't want to go to hell. I have to tip. You know.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying you're allowed to not tip on the app and then give them what you would have tipped them through the app in cash.
The problem is that they don't know that you're going to tip them,
Yeah.
and I don't want somebody rubbing their balls on my McFlurry. So
I'm not saying there won't be some casualties, but like we need a fight for good service.
Well, that's just lacking nowadays. Let's be honest.
100%, but like we can
Ruined hospitality for businesses. Sorry, C word ruined hospitality.
yeah, don't be
for
an
businesses.
idiot.
are we not allowed to say it outright? Can we just say C19?
You said we can't. You know, you said we.
No. I said I'm not going to discuss it on the podcast.
I think you said I'm not going to be the idiot to bring
Discuss it on the.
They just say discuss
Yeah,
it.
sorry.
Lou, why don't you bring us around to number 3?
My number 3 is kind of similar to the food situation. Is when I get bad customer service with bad expensive food. And so there's 3 parts to this that equal out to me just wanting to punch the air a couple times. If it's the bad customer service, it's bad food, and it's expensive. But if you take out one of these, I'm a lot more understanding. But if all 3 of these makes me want to bite through steel. So like if I'm getting, I guess I'll go into deeper. If I'm getting bad customer service, but the food is good and it's a little bit expensive, I really don't care. You literally, if the food is delicious, you could spit on my face and I will just take it and eat the food.
But not the food.
Good to know.
Yeah, just don't spit on the food. Yeah. But like, let's just be fair.
Mike's
all
like, what's
know,
your favorite meal again?
Mike, you have a thing for spitting in people's faces? No.
Allegedly.
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 Because we all know like those restaurants who are just absolutely terrible customer service, but the food is good, so you just like take it. Like it just is what it is.
Popeyes.
Exactly.
Beat ups.
Especially, you should have seen the one. Ask Mac about the B-dubs here. My goodness.
Oh, I've heard about the beat ups, man.
Yeah. That
I've
is
heard
one
some
I'll
horror
DoorDash
stories.
because for some reason they're competent when it comes to door dashing. But no, I would never go in that restaurant. Take an hour and a half just to get my drinks. But anyway, sorry, Lou.
No, it's true. So yeah, and then the same thing. Like, if it's good customer service, at least I get to be around somebody who's cool, even if the food is bad. And then food is just expensive, and everybody knows that. I hate when it's just like when the food is just pricey. It's just sucks. You're looking forward to something. Especially, I feel like I've learned how to cook so many things now,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's like, I could have just done this at home.
Yeah, I can't go out for a steak anymore unless the steak is going to leave me bankrupt.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like most of the steaks I have, I'm just like, I could have made this at home.
Like legitimately, if the steak costs less than $50, I won't even consider it. And at that point, I'm like, $50, man, I could make.
Probably a whole
Let's see.
tomahawk
So
steak
we
for
did.
that.
Yeah, man. We did steak night the other night. It was myself, Andrew, and Jacob. We chipped in for like the 2-inch thick prime cut, and all 3 of our steaks were $60 total because Jacob has a Costco membership. But it's like $50 for one steak. It better be the best steak I ever had, and the best steak I ever had was $90. But it was my birthday, so we got 50% off. Shout out Chop House. So it was still a $50 steak. And like it was obscene. I can't pay that much money for one plate of food. Lou, man, spot on.
I appreciate it.
I don't know if I've had all 3 of it as a combo, so I can't speak to that.
I have had. Let's see. I've definitely had at least 2 out of 3.
Lou, I can bleep it out, but where did you have the trifecta?
So for me, expensive food, I guess like when I think of expensive food, I don't think of like high end food. I think of like deliciousness to price for me. And so there's like a scaling thing. So the first thing that came to my mind was when me and Robert went to that Coney Island and Robert got sick.
What kind
And you remember when we had it was like right around my area.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, and you were like asking Christian to move because you were throw up, but she
Dude,
didn't understand.
I threw up in the bathroom. I threw up in the parking lot. I don't know if it was the food exactly, but yeah, that place. Oof, never mind. Yeah, it's pricey for a Coney.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I was getting at. I've never been, and I really don't go to high end restaurants, to be fair. So
what's your like quote unquote? What do you a $25 plate? Would you guys consider that expensive? Just out of curiosity, like what do you guys consider?
$25 for a plate, I would say, is a good amount of money, and it better be, at the very least, incredibly inconvenient for me to cook that whole plate.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like 25 is, this has to taste really good, and like I think breakfast at Coney is a great example because like you can go to Coney and you can drop $8 for the breakfast special if you get there early enough, and it's like, okay, I got eggs and bacon and toast and pancakes and or hash browns, and they're all warm at the same time. And it's like, I can make all those things, but it's a real pain in the butt to time it all out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, look, for $25, you don't have to blow my mind with something I've never experienced before or something I can't recreate, but it better be a real hassle for $25.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I just went to Biscuits and Gravy again.
Mm.
And,
Still good?
Still good, but
Oh, okay.
it was like $50 for 2 people.
Dude, yeah, I feel like
And-
everything, unless it's like a Coney or like a diner, everything nowadays is like I'm expecting with tip $50 minimum. Just
Yeah,
so
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Dang, dude. And we didn't get anything crazy. No, like my mom got like pancakes and bacon. You know, like
Thanks, Biden.
oh, that's wild.
Dude,
I'm gonna be making that joke for the rest of the podcast. Just a heads up.
I wish we could get them to sponsor. That should have been one of my recommendations. Their eggs Benedict is so freaking good.
But the service is really good. The lady was low key. I felt like she was cheering every time she like got to the table. She like did a little hop.
Was it close to closing time, so she was happy?
No, it was
So
like
I think
no, it
I've
was
seen
like-
Mike do that, like, you know, leprechaun leg tap at the end of a shift at the one restaurant.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When you knew you were almost out of there, oh, it was one of the sweetest feelings of all time.
So my number 3, Mike, you worked at one of these places. I know, Lou, you've been to one of these places. So we should have some good discussion, but it is improper gym etiquette.
Ooh.
I just recently experienced this, but yes, go on.
Yeah. So one of my biggest things is gym equipment hogs. So, you know, you got those people. Usually it's like right when you're about to go get the machine, they get there right before you. And then they're there 20 minutes to do 3 sets. You know, they're sitting on their phone. They call up, talk to people. Oh my gosh, it is so infuriating. I'm like, I have done 5 exercises and you're still on this one machine getting your second set of reps in. Get the heck off of it. Also, along with that, wipe down your freaking machine. Like, I don't want to be sitting in your sweat. No, thank you. And I can't stand the people. The Planet Fitness would call them lunks, but you know, the people that are like just grunting really loud makes it think like they're doing some other activities and just like slamming the weights and all that. We were at some place on Monday. My wife texted me. He's like, "There's this one guy that just sounds like he's like having sex with how much he's grunting and moaning, and it's just like, oh my gosh, shut up."
Those 15s,
And
man.
again, we're at the rec center, so it's not like we're at your powerhouse
Like a
gyms.
powerhouse.
Yeah, like it makes sense if you're in like a professional or like more intense
Yeah,
gym
like-
workout, but we're at the community center basically.
Yeah. This ain't Dwight Schrute's gym for muscles, man.
It's true. And re-rack your weights, please.
Amen.
As someone who's worked at a gym, re-rack your effing weights because I don't want to do that.
So I've actually never experienced bad gym etiquette because you might be thinking, because you're the one with bad gym etiquette. And that's a fair assumption, knowing everything else about me. But it's because I worked at a gym and I did overnight custodial maintenance. And so you either took your hour lunch break, which I'm going to be real with you, I can slam a couple high protein burritos in like 15 minutes. I don't need that whole hour to eat food. And so I just work out on my lunch break and then boom. And so it'd be like 1 a.m, ain't nobody in the gym. I can rack everything up exactly. Like I had all my weights set up how I wanted at multiple stations. And so it was like, I'll do 1 set, move to the next, do another set, move to the next, do another set, move to the next. And I could just loop it and then put everything back, wipe everything down. I could get a full workout in like 20 minutes because you didn't have to wait for anybody. You didn't have to deal with anybody. It was glorious.
And also, if you're in a group of people, split up. If you have more than 3 people, split up. Don't just, I mean, it's kind of like the equipment hogs, but you don't need 5 people sitting around one machine. Split that ish up. All the high schoolers start coming when my wife and I go to the gym, and they're just all in their little groups, not only taking forever to lift, but there's 5 of them just chatting it up. I'm like, you dang kids.
Yeah, that is my. I think that's the reason why I'm actually leaving my gym right now is because I like to lift super late at night. I like to lift at like 10 o'clock at night, expecting for nobody to be at the gym at the time. But that is when all of like the 18 to 22-year-olds like to go lift as well. And there are legitimately 7 people on one machine.
Mm-hmm.
So that machine is never going to be able to be used except for those guys.
Yeah.
It's like there's no shot for me to get a chance to it. And a lot of the like in my gym, there's only one machine, like there's only one row bar machine. Like and there's only like one bicep machine. And so if that's gone, I'm screwed. My workout's completely shot.
They don't even have like the dumbbells.
They have the dumbbells, but those are never I can never get to the dumbbells. There's no like there's no space for me to even. And so if I grab dumbbells, I could get some, but there's no place for me to actually, because everybody's staring at the mirror, looking at themselves.
You
And
just
I
need to
think
go back to back with one of them. Don't even tell
There
them
you
it's
go.
coming. Just boom.
Be like, that's a nice back you got there, bro.
I was just lifting.
Nice back.
I was lifting yesterday.
Just set up a tripod so it looks like you're filming and be like, all right, man, just flex real hard while you're doing this. And just convince them they're going to be on your Insta.
There's a fly machine, which I love doing the fly machine.
Hate the flies.
And really, it's great for your chest. It's insane.
I do
And,
them. I just maybe it's because it's always like my last chest workout, so I'm just tired by then. But that could be part
I
of it.
respect it. But that's like the most wanted machine out of all. Like I watch people like fight for this machine, and so I'm on the treadmill waiting for the fly machine to open up. So I immediately like run to it, and another dude literally like gets to me maybe like after my first set, and he's like, "Can I work in?" I'm like, "For sure, yeah, you could totally work in." And I'm doing like a good amount of weight, and he he looks at it and then puts like 4 more on, and then he struggles with the weight. I'm watching him struggle with the weight, and then he moves my weight down. And so I was like, "Oh, dude, I appreciate that. Thanks." And then I do my set, and I'm like, "Hey, what weight were you on?" And he was like, "I don't know, just a little bit more than you." I was like, "Okay,
Oh my God.
A-hole.
all right, I see." I see. He's like, "The more weight, the better, right?" Like, you bastard. All right, man.
I don't know how long my dick is, but I know it's a little bit longer than yours.
Pretty much, man. You know what? And hey, you got a bigger dick. Good job, man. I'm proud of you.
Brand new thing that annoys me. It's that mind, like there are so many unhealthy gym mindsets. I don't want to spiral into like an endless mental health rant,
No,
but
do it.
like
We got time. We're
Just-
killing it.
just freaking find what is enough for you to push through and be struggling for your last couple reps and have perfect form, and don't worry about the numbers, and just build up over time. Quit doing this add extra weight BS. It's not making you stronger, it's making your form worse, and then you're just gonna hurt yourself. There is so much ego in the gym, and I get it. And I get that I was working out alone at 1 a.m, and so it's a lot easier to put your ego aside. But put it aside and do work that will make you stronger or help you achieve whatever results you're looking for. And quit trying to press 4 more pounds than Lucian. That's
Why do you
can't
gotta
let him beat
single
me.
me out?
I can't let him beat me.
Yeah, well, no, it's just because you just told that
I know,
story.
I'm joking.
Like, oh, it kills me.
Mike, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Whopper, 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 double, triples, single Whopper, da 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 da.
BK, have it your way.
I have a hard set policy. I like Burger King. I think their burgers are fine for fast food burgers. If it was a choice between a McDouble and a double cheeseburger from Burger King,
A Whopper,
I'll take that
too.
double cheese. I will take that flame broiled burger every time. Every single time, man. But that song is so annoying and I hate it so much that if I have thought of, like, if I'm like thinking about turning into a Burger King and I think of the song, I will not turn in until they have not done that commercial for so long that I can't remember it. I ain't going back.
I'm gonna shoot you.
Or until they release an official statement saying they're not going to do it. But
I'm gonna shoot you straight. I kind of like the song.
do you really?
The guy, like, he doesn't have like a very strong like vocal presence, and he's just singing his heart out for this Whopper. Mad respect.
So I would like to say, in the same vein as, hey, maybe we don't send death threats to the guy who played Jar Jar Binks. Like, it's not his fault. I got no beef with the guy. I got no flame broiled beef with the guy who sang the song. However, the song is so annoying. The first time I heard it, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was an amateur production that somebody put on YouTube and they just decided to use as their advertising.
It's so great.
Oh my gosh, I can't. And it's an earworm, and that, like, I have a remedy for an earworm now. So whenever I get it stuck in my head, I can get it out of my head. But like, whoo, that song's annoying. I'm over it.
I have other sounds that drive me nuts, but that is not one of them for sure.
But you can at least understand, right?
I can
yeah.
sympathize for sure.
It's not
annoying things that loop in your head forever.
It's not as bad as I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
I want my baby back, baby back.
Oh my!
For context, we worked at a restaurant, Rob and I, that literally, I don't remember if it was 15 or 30, but every 15 or 30
I guess
minutes,
15.
they would play that song. Every 15 minutes of your entire shift. If you worked a double, it was 10 hours, 40 times a day. You could hear that song. Like, you just be walking around, minding your own, doing your job, and you'd hear ting, 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 ting. And it was just like, oh, well, my day's ruined. Like, oh, it was the worst. I forgot about that.
BK or that?
I'm still
song?
mad.
BK or
No, that song playing every 15 minutes. Customers were getting annoyed. They'd be like, dude, we've been here for an hour and I've heard this song 4 times. And I'd be like, don't complain to me. I've been here for 7 hours, but I get it. Like, I have no sympathy for you, none whatsoever. But yo, it's super annoying. And I will ask them to stop, and I will specifically cite the fact that a customer is upset.
Put it in your little survey at the Zios there. Let them know that song sucks.
Yeah, that was awful.
Also, if you guys ever have those little Ziox, leave reviews for people. That's how they get scheduled.
So yeah, you can lose your job as a server if you don't get enough reviews.
Oh wow.
And also, the way they weight those reviews is insane at some places. So like, you can, like, a lot of places it'll be like 1 through 5 stars, and you'd think it's like 5 is 100, 4 is 80, 3 is 60, 40, 20, 0, right? Like a normal 5%, 20% for each one. No, it's like a 1 is like it was like
60%.
it was like a 5. Yeah, it was like 5 is like 100%, and then 4 is 60%. 3, which you'd think is average, is like already is 0, and then 2 and 1 are like in the negative. So like, I don't care how bad your service was, leave them 5 stars and chew them out in the comments. It is insane how restaurants weigh those things. It's the most jacked up bell curve you've ever seen in your life. I don't care how bad of a server they were. Give them 5 stars, because like, what you think is a reasonable review based on what your service was is so outrageously skewed by the like Houdini math they're doing back there.
You are the MVP of this podcast right now. Like,
I forgot
He's
about
been
so
waiting
many
about this.
things that have been unearthed during this experience.
Lou, what is your number 2?
my number 2 is absolutely getting destroyed in board games. I have grown a lot in myself, and with being competitive, my wife has called me out multiple times on how I'm not playing sports anymore. I don't need to be as competitive.
Yes, you do.
I can just enjoy the game.
Life's a competition.
Life is a
You're
competition.
not good enough if you don't win.
Amen.
You have to win.
Be like someone.
Your worth as a human hinges on this game of Go Fish.
Be like one of Mike's relatives, where he only plays games he's good at.
Yeah, I called him out on that. I asked him if that was true, and that
like,
was one
"Yep."
of the most awkward moments I've ever experienced. It was a very awkward moment with me and him. And I think sometimes, does he remember me asking him that question?
Every night. We should have brought him on the pod.
up,
Should have brought him on the pod and see if that was his number 1.
There you go.
When Lucian calls me out. So here's the thing. If you call him out on it, he's like, no, I just only play games I like. And
mean,
it's like, yeah. But those are also the games you're good at. Like, I understand where he's coming from, but they are one and the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that why you don't want to play Dutch Blitz with us?
Me?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I don't mind playing Dust Blitz with anybody. I'll take on anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Lou's language when Dutch Blitz comes up. Whoo, baby. It's like a sailor.
Yeah. I will play Dutch Blitz, but I won't do it in front of anybody who I don't feel comfortable with cussing, because I can't play the game without just cussing constantly.
That's why you stopped playing it at Rob's mother-in-law's house.
Yep.
Yeah, Rob's mother-in-law was the one that taught me how to play Dutch Blitz. But she was so kind to me and so just nice that I didn't know how wild of a game it is until I played it with Rob's wife, and I was like, "Oh, this is living hell."
You should
This is
see that side of the family. Whew.
Absolutely.
It gets wild over there.
Them in card games. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a wild game when you play with people who are pros at it.
Well, so the thing too with Rob's mother-in-law is she explained to me one time, she was like, bowling is my ideal game to play with somebody. And it's not that she likes bowling, it's that she doesn't like competition. She just wants, or she doesn't want direct competition where I'm trying to best somebody. She just wants, she wants her to do her best and have it not influence you doing your best. And she wants you to do your best. And then she has no issue with then comparing the two next to each other, right? So bowling's great because she does her best and it doesn't affect you doing your best. And then you do your best, which doesn't affect her doing her best. And then we see who comes out ahead, right?
You're not like
games like
blocking
Dutch
somebody's
Blitz.
shot. Yeah.
It's like it's me or you, and it ain't gonna be you, bitch. Like it is cutthroat as hell when you get some like people who've played a lot of Dutch Blitz. And I love it. I live for that.
And then,
But
then
if
you
you're
get
not-
my
but-
father-in-law in there who's like, I don't want to play. He's always like, I don't want to play Dutch Blitz. And then he'll stand over the table and he'll pick one person and be like, hey, you can play that card. You can play that card. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
It's like, man, I can beat you, but it's really hard to beat you and him at the same time. Freaking Doc Ock over here. Like, ugh.
Anyways, Lou, what board games do you not like playing? Because you get too competitive.
And we've talked about this in the podcast. I think this is one of our earlier podcasts, but a really good story of mine is I was playing Monopoly with my wife and my wife's best friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And when my wife would land on my wife's best friend's property, she would give her like a tax break. I don't know. She would only have to pay a little bit. And then when I landed on it, she also offered me that tax break, but I turned it down because what's the point of playing the game? This is absolutely ridiculous. We're just honestly just like sharing money.
Not the point of the game. It's also going
Not
to
the
drag
point
it
of the
out
game.
5 times longer than it already is.
Exactly. And so that's one of them. But really, I hate it when another one is like Settlers of Catan. I love that game. It's super fun when you play it with the right people.
My wife hates
But-
that game. That's all I can say.
Mhm.
Does she really?
Yeah, she can't stand it. I think it's her least favorite. So now whenever we're at a board game shop, like, oh, look at all those Settlers of Catan, whatever.
Okay.
Oh, I'll have
I don't
to
know
remember
why,
that.
because I'm quite indifferent about it. But yeah, she hates it. And
Yeah,
I would
think-
get yelled at if I didn't. She wouldn't let me sleep in my bed tonight if I didn't say anything. So that's how much
You
she hates
gotta-
it.
I might have to pull an audible from a number of 2.
But like when you're doing well and you're doing better than everybody else, and people start noticing that you're doing well and then just absolutely curb stop you so that you can't do anything else the whole rest of the game, just drives me nuts. And I get why. I understand the reason, but I hate the fact that there's games that let you do that.
Yeah, it's like if you're playing multi-smash on Smash Bros. Like, oh, this guy has 3 stocks left. Everyone target him. Like that. type of
Exactly.
thing.
Oh, yes, it's so annoying. I mean, to be fair, I'm never the guy with 3 stocks, and I'm always the guy being like, guys, we need a freaking socialism this thing now.
And also, I don't mind losing, but there's just some guys who are just really good at certain games and just absolutely it's like getting one shot in a video game, basically.
Yeah.
It's just
Let me pitch this to you and see if it resonates. That's that family member of Becca's you were referring to.
Mhm.
I once said to him, we were at some barbecue, and I was like, I would rather lose an incredibly competitive game, right down to the wire, super fun and engaging, super close the whole time, than win a blowout.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and literally said to me, that does not even compute. That makes no sense to me.
I think it depends.
At the end of the day, I love competition, and I love good balanced competition. Like, I want somebody around my skill set where we're going to push each other. It's going to be engaging. We have to like come up with everything we can to try and like win. It's no fun playing basketball with a 5-year-old.
See, that's where
Like,
Lucian differs on that. He's dunking on him and
Oh,
connect
well,
4. He's just
yeah.
like, bam, take that.
well, yeah.
I'm not an actual game, but
Let me phrase. It is the fun you have playing basketball with a 5-year-old is a completely different type.
Makes me feel like I'm actually good at the game, you know? I agree with you like 90% of the time. It is, I do like the ego stroke of, blowing someone out every now and again. But yeah, competitive games are.
Now, I will say this. It is fun when you're just in the zone and it's somebody who's in the same ballpark as you and you just tear them to shreds. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it's just like, dude, I had a transcendent day. Maybe you had a bad day and I just destroyed you.
That's why Lucian
That's a lot
doesn't
of
play
fun.
Smash with me anymore. Because I had a transcendent day once. I think he was on an off day. I'm sorry, Lou.
No. You went to college. You went to
college too.
Yeah, no. You not the same. We were at a decent level most of our friendship. You went to college and I'm assuming you just all you did was practice Smash Bros.
I did not actually, but yeah.
And then you came back. You can't tell me otherwise. That's not how that works. You came back and became pro level. You would do 5 against 1 and you would destroy the whole group. It's like it's not fun when you know the codes to the damn game. It was absolutely ridiculous.
And then the Konami
props
codes.
to you. I mean, to be fair though, I've destroyed you in 2K.
Yeah.
I mean, our 2K record is
Yeah, it's no bueno. Once
It
you
is
figured
no
out
bueno.
my one strategy, it was over for me.
There was one time though you were playing with Simmons, and I
Ben
could not
Simmons.
do anything against that, and you were giggling like a little girl every time you dunked with him,
Hey,
and it was
Oh, good.
absolutely ridiculous. But I do agree. I love destroying computers. Like I like going on easy mode and absolutely just like whooping them, but I don't like destroying people. It's not very fun.
so my number 2, I know Lucian has done this in the past, but I don't know if he's grown past it or whatever. But something that just grinds my gears to no end is when you're listening to a song and whoever has the aux or whatever switches the song halfway through and doesn't let the song finish. There is a freaking add to queue button for a reason. Just queue it up next and let the song play out. You don't need to stop in the middle. Grinds my gears every single time.
That is
my-
so valid.
How am I connected to this again?
I just remember like going to camp. We would, it's a 10, 15 minute drive into town from our camp. And I would give you the aux every now and again, and you would skip around and be like, halfway through the song, you'd be like, I don't want to listen to this anymore, and skip. I'm like, just add to queue. Play next, play next. It's that easy.
All right, yeah, I understand. I have grown as a person with this.
I'm
I
proud
just
of
wanted
you.
to
Now,
let-
I
just
will
wanted to let
say,
you know.
I think socially there should be some kind of like etiquette where you can be like, is everybody else just over this song? And if everyone's on board, we should be able to skip, But if literally one person is jamming out, stay the F away from my music, man. Like, it's one song. At most, we're talking about another 2-3 minutes. Give that to me.
Mhm.
Like, and that goes in all directions, I never even considered that, but I could not agree more.
I thought you were going to talk about when we had that guy, and before you were listening to rap music, you were like, "Hey, I will listen to anything that you want. I just don't want to listen to rap music."
Well, specifically, it was
played-
like gangster, gangster rap.
Yeah. And I think he played one song that wasn't gangster rap,
Yeah.
and then it was like, "All right, I'm backing out on this." And then just like the biggest gangster rap song at the time. And you just like, I felt like you just gripped your steering wheel just a little tighter and just didn't say anything.
I just tuned it out. That was a fun car ride.
It was a fun car ride. I miss Julian.
He's one guy.
Oh,
That,
it was Baby J.
yeah. He's one guy I expect, screams at the gym, and he can do it. That man's ripped beyond all. Oh my gosh, he's just jacked.
He got
Are either of you guys still in any kind of contact with him?
Just on Instagram, so no.
no.
Okay.
Alex Jr. has talked to him in the past.
I was going to say, I would just love to have him on the pod if we could find a way.
Yeah, I mean, we're all friends with him at some we're separately
Right.
friends with him at some point. So I could see him again.
Well, I was kind of a piece of when I was 18 and we were roommates in college freshman year, which is when you're 18. I think he might have been over the college Michael experience, which to be fair, I don't fault him for, but I don't know how much I think there's a little bit of like, oh gosh, I can't stand that guy that I earned, but I would love the chance to be like, bro, I agree. That kid was a douche. Give me a shot.
How many people do you think are in that same boat?
Oh yeah, I don't know how I had friends in like high school and all that. It was stupid.
Wait, hold on. Do you mean how many people are in the same boat if they'd like a chance to like make another impression on people they were obnoxious to? Or do you mean how many people are like, I can't stand Mike Rice because they knew me when I was 18 and no other time?
That one, the second one.
The
Okay,
F-boy
that's
barely.
also how I interpreted it. And then Rob answered and I was like, wait, did I misinterpret?
No, I was just saying I'm there
that-
with you. I'm raising my hand.
Ah, me too. I gotcha.
Hashtag no.
Hashtag
That's
me too, too.
I knew you were gonna say some stupid
TOOTWO.
Oh my gosh.
No, wouldn't.
Yikes.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm also an asshole. Me too, too.
Don't try. Why are you trying to reason with him, Robert?
Cause it feeds the pod. It's content, Blue. And you'll know once you're in the meetings, the content can mean money.
Every single listener who was a douchebag when they were not 18, I want to see it in the comments.
Put in the comments.
Hashtag METOOTWO.
Hashtag a-hole. Hashtag me too.
Oh my gosh.
If any of you actually do it, we'll give you a +1 to being the top topper of the year.
Oh, I like that.
On our YouTube, so make sure you go check out our YouTube. Mike, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is a bit of an audible that Lucian inspired. But I want to paint you a picture here. Married couple, right? Let's say they have a blend of modern and traditional roles. They both bring in income. They work to make the household work, you know? This is a partnership. We are a team. Like, just a relationship that we can all look at and respect. And the dude says something. Maybe he makes an inappropriate joke about doggy style at an inopportune time. And the woman says, "You're sleeping on the couch tonight." And this man doesn't realize, hey, I pay for at least half of this. We are partners. That is just as much my bed as it is yours. You don't want to sleep in the same bed with me? You sleep on the couch. That's your prerogative. But I'm sleeping in my bed. Now, I've never in my life been told, go sleep on the couch.
That's going to be my next question.
But even if I had, I've made it real clear during pre-marriage counseling, like right up front. I was like, by the way, you ever want to kick me out to the couch? You can go sleep on the couch. Now, quick caveat, I have said, hey, if one of us is horrendously sick, whoever needs to be up earlier in the day should have the right to kick the other person to the couch, even if it's the sick person. Like, if I'm sick, but it's a Saturday and I don't work the next day and Mackenzie does, I'll sleep on the couch. That's a separate issue. I have never understood being kicked out of bed by your wife. I'm just like, dude, I get it. Things are tense. We're all in relationships. We understand what that's like. But, like, that's your bed too, man.
Have you guys ever known someone that had that happen, or is it just like a Hollywood thing?
I've heard a lot of people talk about their husband, like, or I was sleeping on the couch, and I don't know if it was a metaphor or not, but I really genuinely don't get it. So I don't know if it is real or not. Comment down below. We'll give you a point to topper. All comments equal 1 point.
You don't have to talk about your marital issues in our podcast.
No, we'll diagnose them.
You don't have to, but if you want them points,
we're not professional therapists,
points,
but we'll diagnose
you. Want them to tippy top topper.
You can keep your own. Keep your marriage to you and your wife. You don't have to put that on the internet.
You can, and you don't have to. But if you so choose, we will pay you in points.
Ridiculous.
I agree with you for the most part, Mike, except we always have we yield the bed to the sick person because they need more rest in general.
Yeah, and like that's just a kind of how we work, because it's like even like when Joe was a newborn, that was kind of the thing where it was like, hey, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no like you're the mom, you have to take care of the baby. It was just who's got to be up sooner. You get to sleep, you know, and that was always kind of how we made it work. And so it like, yes, the sick person needs more rest, but man, when I'm sick, like I stayed home sick a couple weeks ago and I'd take the day off and I'd stay in bed as long as I could. And then I'd be like, I cannot, like, I'm sick. I can't work. I am dying. I can't be in the same place. And I would literally just move over to the couch and I'd lay on the couch for like 5 hours and then I'd get up and I'd go to bed. Like, I can get good rest on the couch when I'm sick. I can get good rest anywhere I got a blanket and a pillow when I'm sick. Yeah, that's just how we do it. I'm not saying that's how everyone should do it, but I totally get yield the bed to the sick person. That's a much more normal person thing to do. Ultimately, I do not understand the concept of the husband, or let's go either way. I don't understand the concept of either party being kicked out of the bed. Makes no sense to me.
Also, I'm just going to keep it real. The getting kicked out to the couch isn't really a punishment because, you know, you got the TV, you got your video games usually out there. Like, man, I'm okay.
Have you ever slept on my, well, yeah, 2 things. 1, I don't have insomnia. And 2, have you ever tried to sleep on my couch?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good couch to sleep.
No, like it's an okay couch for sitting on. It's not great. I'd like to replace it soon. It's a terrible couch to sleep on. There's nowhere you can go that your back won't hurt.
Yeah, we got a nice couch at our place, so it's not even a threat. Like, that would be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, we got a nice king size memory foam mattress. I love my bed. We officially have invested more money in our bed than our couch.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. You spend like a good percentage of your life in bed. You need to, same with
Right.
shoes. Like you need to, two things you shouldn't go cheap on: shoes and your bed, because those can both lead to like bad joints and like body problems later on if you don't have like good supports or, you know, a good mattress.
I never thought of shoes that way, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Lou, why don't you bring us on home with your number one?
So my number one, I think, is super vague, and I think it's the weirdest one in my list. But when I set something down and it falls, and then when I pick it up and I set it back and it falls again,
It's a gravity.
Preach.
makes me want to rip my skin off. I hate it. I hate it so much. I set things down fairly often in my job and just around my life, and I clean a lot. And so when I set something down and it tumbles, and I'm like, okay, I'm a human and I make mistakes. My therapist said that's okay for me to do, is to make mistakes. And then I set it down again, and I do it differently, and I pay attention to it, and it falls again. I want
Press the button, Kronk. Nuke the world.
I just want life to end. Not just for me, but for everybody. I just want to restart. I want gravity to be different.
So Lou's got a vendetta against
Nuclear
gravity.
holocaust.
it just drives me nuts. I can't stand it. You know, and I think it like it's with little things as well. Like when you're have like a piece of paper and you ball it up and you throw it in the trash, and I miss, that also just drives me nuts. It's just like, yeah, I think if it boils down to it, I think gravity. I think when gravity doesn't work in my favor, it just drives me nuts.
It's always
Or
working in your favor. Gravity 1, Lou 0.
Sure, I'll give it to you. If I could fight gravity, I would. I feel like gravity, if it was a person, it'd be a nerd, real know-it-all. Fedora hat, feather in it,
Neckbeard.
neck beard,
Says milady.
goes to Civil War camps.
Dressed as a steampunker. Oh,
Guys,
oh,
stop
gosh.
describing Jacob and Rob's baby.
Has a body pillow with an anime girl on it.
That could be one of mine.
Yeah.
People that go to Civil War events dressed in steampunk, just like random people. I guess that's an honorable mention.
Is that not what they wear? I don't understand.
No, like they'll come in, they'll try to have like the crazy goggles, you know, they look like freaking Willy Wonka from Johnny Depp and all that, and they got their top hats with gears in it, and you're just like, get out of here. Sorry, Jacob. You can steampunk, Jacob. Just don't go to the Greenfield Village Civil War Remembrance Day as a steampunker. That's what Comic-Con's for.
As a quick aside to make sure all of our business relationships stay smooth, we are not suggesting Jacob has ever inappropriately steampunked in the wrong place. This is just a general comment.
Yeah, because I know he has some steampunk looks, so that's why he was just.
He's got some, dude. His steampunk rock look that he rocked for the Hot Kyle's movie. It was bad ass, but it would be wildly out of place at a Civil War reenactment.
So, Mike, you don't like Gravity either?
I'm relatively indifferent about it. It has, well, I'd like to say it's caused me more pain than not, but I got to imagine I'd have really messed myself up a couple times if there was no gravity.
I don't know.
So,
Gravity really keeps me grounded. Ba-dum-ts.
all right. I don't know about you, Lou, but I quit.
Yeah.
26 episodes and out. Peace.
Delete.
So my number one, it's something that's happened more in the past 5 or 6 years than anything else, but it is just the blatant nostalgia baiting in movies and TV shows.
Mm.
So the example that comes to the top of my head is Jurassic World 2, whatever, I don't remember what it's called, but like their whole advertisement
yeah.
was Dr. Ian Malcolm is back. Jeff Goldblum is Jeff Goldberg. Is it Goldberg? Goldblum. Either way, he's reprising his role. Like that was the whole advertisement. Not only did that movie suck, but he was in there for like 30 seconds. Like that was it. And just that general premise where they're just like, oh, look at these things you remember, as member berries, as South Park calls them. And it's just like, yeah, you remember these? Well, guess what? They're in there for 30 seconds, and that was our whole advertising budget. And I'm just sick of it. Like, I think don't nostalgia bait just to bring people in if it doesn't have a spot in the story. I can't stand it. Same with like memeing, just throwing memes in there for no reason. Yeah, that type of thing.
I can't agree with you, Robert. I'm sorry. I think I am
you like the nostalgia?
I don't mind it. I will say I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me very much. Like I don't know, like with the newest Spider-Man movie, that was like super nostalgic.
The story fit that. Like the different worlds and all that. It wasn't just bringing them back because they needed to sell tickets. Like,
Right.
the whole concept revolved around that. But along with the Spider-Man thing, with the meme thing, I hate that in multiple Spider-Man movies they incorporate the Spider-Man pointing meme because they should not know it, like in the world. I guess kind of across the Spider-Verse you could argue maybe about it, but I rolled my eyes when they did that, and same with whatever the newest Tom Holland one was. I'm like, no, you're just doing that specifically for internet people, not actually a thing in this world.
I laugh every time.
So I actually completely missed it in the Tom Holland one, and I thought, like, I knew it was coming. It was so obvious that they were prepping that joke in Across the Spider-Verse. But it was, to quote Abed, it was a predictable but appetizing moment. Like, sometimes it's just like, hey, the joke's coming. There it is. And it's not clever. It's not going to blow my mind. But it's just what I need right now. It's a baby carrot and a cup of dip, and that'll do.
I thought you were going to say a cup of dick for some reason. I don't know why.
That's a you thing.
I've never heard that before.
I just mean that's like the reason you jumped there is just that's how your own personal dementia works.
I never heard that either, but I'll take it. I don't disagree.
And I'm okay with like random cameos. It's just like I said, the baiting, like, oh, you're going to come and see all these people and then they're not there. And honestly, people just...
Or the whole movie just tries to rely on... Like, there's no good plot. I feel you, man.
Yeah.
I think if we got into it and we really dug into it for a while, I think you and Lou would maybe be closer to agreement than you guys necessarily think you are.
Well, like I said, like when the plot, like, the whole point of... I don't know the time. Was it Across? No. Far From Home, whatever it was. The whole plot, like, revolved around... Like, the whole plot was made for that. And, since they made the story around that, it made sense. And I'm okay with it. If they made another movie like that, I would be like, all right, you already did this once. Like, let's move on, make some new stuff.
It worked once. It was really cool. I thought the movie was pretty good. I've heard a bunch of people complain about the plot.
I didn't
when
like
I was
it.
watching it, I was engaged the whole time.
I didn't like it, but the first time I saw it was, I guess, the extended one they re-released in theaters, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, how long has this been going on? So I think maybe if I would have...
Okay, that's fair.
It's like if when Lou saw the Two Towers extended edition the first time, like, that's just not the way to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. I just don't know what's going on. Why are they walking so far? What's going on?
They have to save the hobbits because they're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
I just don't know why it's so long. Yeah.
No, for real. I will say this: the regular version that I saw in theaters of No Way Home was like, it got done, and I was like, if that had been even a second longer, it would have been too long. But I was good with it. Like, I enjoyed it. And I was like, that was a long movie, but I enjoyed it the whole time. But it was pushing it. An extended cut is obscene. There is no need for that.
Mike, what is your number one?
This one's honestly a little less funny. But my number one is when I'm in an argument, a debate, a discussion. Like, it doesn't even have to be heated. But whenever there's any kind of disagreement and we're comparing viewpoints, and I make a point and somebody just leaves what I say hanging and then just starts up a new thread or like brings up a new point or a new topic. And I'm like, dude, we can talk about that all day long, but don't you dare just try and sidestep what I said because it's convenient for you. And like, admittedly, it is an easy thing to do when two people have different agendas and they're like, no, that's not really what I'm worried about. So I get it. It happens to people. And I've worked very hard to, like, when I spot it now, be like, hey, just quick thing about me, this really bugs me. Can we just cover this point and then we'll move on to your thing? But some people who haven't learned to communicate well will do it, and to give them the benefit of the doubt, they will do it probably subconsciously, but they'll be like, ooh, addressing this point will really undermine what I'm trying to do. And so they'll just move on to something else, and they're doing it as a technique. I want to quote my father, I want to rip off their arms and beat them with the stumps when that happens.
Oh,
It just makes me livid.
Wouldn't the stumps still be attached to their bodies?
I guess it depends on how much of the arm I rip off. In my head, it's always been you rip them off at the shoulders and then you have the whole arm to just thump, 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 thump with like nunchucks. But I guess, the leftover would be the stump. I should talk to him about that. It's not the best phrasing.
Just say I want to rip off their arms and beat them with them.
The stumps is more graphic, but I want to rip off their arms and beat them with the trunks.
Ooh, there you go.
Ooh, that's kind of sexual. I don't know about that one.
The curious person in me wants to know what you're doing that you equated that with sex, but the rest of me is like, don't go anywhere near that.
You've never just thought about what it'd be like with a double amputee? Everyone's thought that.
That's different, all right?
What about a quadruple?
I just want the quadruped or the quadruple and I just want the no arms no legs person to have lost their limbs in an event that had nothing to do with me or my rage. Okay.
Wait, are you having sex with it? Or are you
Quadriplegic?
not? Yeah.
No,
Are we not talking about this?
We've just like Rob said, we've all thought about it.
Okay.
Haven't you just been curious?
And-
A little.
Yeah,
I don't
like
discriminate.
the thought has once crossed my mind where I've been like, oh, I wonder what that would be like.
We don't kink shame here. If you want to do that, you go
Yeah.
to long distance
It's
situationships.
not something I've
There you go.
exactly. It's not something I pursue, but the thought has occurred to me. I've been to the hospital. I've seen people in wheelchairs.
Where's that
Like-
category on the dating apps? Like that's discrimination. Let me search. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I would never Google it, but I thought it. There's nothing wrong with that. Put your phone
So
on
if you're
incognito
also if you're not part of the a-hole Me Too twos, if you ever thought about you want the quadriplegic filters on dating apps, put down I don't even know what hashtag to put, but let us know. We'll give you 2 points.
Hashtag only stumps.
mode.
Like I said, it's not that I actually believe these things. It's that I am just compelled to make the worst possible joke.
Are we going to hell?
Why you always go shoot from hell, Robert? You're freaking me out.
Probably
I gotta know.
Maybe jail. Definitely an insane asylum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we go somewhere else?
Purgatory. Are we going to purgatory? We're gonna have to work
I
this
don't-
sin off.
Yeah.
Are you freaking Catholic?
No. It wasn't hell. Hell was too extreme for Lou, which is,
It
usually
is.
the joke. So next week, and I might get a guess for this one. I want to know your top, it'll probably be top 3 desert island games. So you're stuck on a desert island. You only get to bring
Love it.
3 games with you. Doesn't have to be your favorite, but what do you think you can have?
Desert Island
Desert.
is a very important distinction.
Yep. So you have the proper TV, proper equipment, the game consoles, whatever, but you're stuck on that desert island and you'll never have any other games. What are your 3 games you're bringing?
Do I get to be online?
Oh, that's a very valid question. You should.
I'll say yes, but you also have to take into account that maybe online gets shut down sometime.
It's true. Also, let's say you can be online, but you can't party up with your friends. Like, you can't get the social itch scratched by it. Does that seem
Only
reasonable?
randos. You can only play with people.
Yeah.
Only ran.
Yeah, like this isn't a way to cheat the system and be able to talk to your buddies.
Fair enough.
Well, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Top Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know any of the things we have. If you're a hashtag MeToo2, hashtag a-hole, let us know. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please give us a 5-star review. And if you do, and we read it off on the podcast, you will get a +1 to being the topper of the year. Other than that, hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see y'all next time.
Hashtag me too.
I don't support any of this.
Lucian is now the one standing in protest.